Hi, this is Michael Adams for CEORoaster and Stock Telegraph. And as you might remember, I had a video interview on February 8th with Sassy Resources. I was joined by Mark Scott, and of course, today he's joining me again. He's the CEO of Sassy Resources. The company is trading on the CSE under the symbol SASY, on the OTCQB under the symbol SSYRF, and on the Frankfurt market, the symbol is 4E7, and for my German fellows, the WKN number is A2P00A, but I will put that somewhere around this video as usual. And today Sassy had a really, really good news release because they are now the biggest landholder in the Central Newfoundland Gold Belt, and they just
Yes, easy for you to say.
yeah. So I will from now I will just call it the Gold Belt, right, or just
Sure.
Newfoundland. But it's really I like SK Creek, SK Camp. I like that better as a word. But actually, that's a good combination because you are the only company that I'm aware of that has a presence in both of these hottest mining camps in Canada. Is that right, or is there another comparable company that's also active in both?
No, we're the only public company with this significant a foothold in both the SK Camp and the Central Newfoundland Gold Belt for sure. There's one other company that has small properties in both,
Okay.
but nothing that would compare to the size of our properties in either camp.
Okay, yeah, and as I said, yeah, since today with the news release, you're the biggest one, at least in the gold belt. You're not the biggest one on SK Camp, I guess, right? So there's
No,
there's
no, no.
there's
There
way
are
more
some
around.
monstrous
But
properties in
yeah,
BC, but
you
but
never
for
know.
Newfoundland, we've gone over 9,000 claims now. We're the
Yeah.
largest claim holder on the island.
Yeah, no, congratulations. And just because in this video interview we are going to focus mostly on the Newfoundland Gold Belt, but as I said, yeah, we already did the big overall video interview, which is like an hour or 50 minutes in February, and I will also link that somewhere around that video. But before we dig into Newfoundland, give us a quick update on what's going on at SK Camp, because you also, I think last week, you issued a news release that you're kicking off the season.
Yeah, that's right. We certainly don't want anybody to think we've forgotten about the Formore Gold Silver project in northwestern BC, up in the SK camp, where we put out news. You're right. Last week that we've started the airborne VTEM and mag survey over the entire 146 square kilometer property up there. That will allow us to have that data in time for the field season in July, August, September, and into October this year, where we will be both drilling to follow up on last year's work that we did at the Westmore Gold Discovery Zone and elsewhere throughout the property in the Moore Creek VMS corridor that's greater than 5 kilometers in length, and then of course the probably two handfuls of prospects and targets that exist in what we call the Hanging Valley part of the property. So that deep penetrating high resolution VTEM and mag survey will be the first time such a survey has been performed on this property using modern tools and technology, and will give us a good deep look into what's going on subsurface there, and provide some targeting for us for follow-up drilling.
Okay. No, that's great. And I think one of the intentions of now also having the presence in Newfoundland was that you can drill around the year, right? So you're not
Right.
limited to so that's a pretty, to me, a pretty smart.
We've
Um,
we've said all along that this would be the first, last, and only time we had to go through a long winter
yeah.
of not having anything but a season gone by to talk about, and we've certainly done that with the big splash and big move we've made into Newfoundland.
Yeah. Yeah. So besides this, yeah, give us a little bit of, maybe for the guys that are not familiar with the area overall, right? Why is this gold belt in Newfoundland so hot right now? Why did it come up as one of the top tier locations?
Well, it's if you look at the Fraser surveys, it's certainly a mining friendly jurisdiction, and that helps the population, the provincial government, right, are proponents of mining and sustainable economic development, and we certainly want to be part of that. But geologically, the conditions were set there many years ago, many millennia ago, through a series of tectonic collisions that appear to have created a number of large scale structural systems, large-scale faulting systems that were then later flushed with some mineralizing events. And that model, that working theory of Newfoundland's geological history has just been developing and evolving over the last few years as more Geological Survey of Canada and Newfoundland Geological Survey, geophysical surveys have been coming available. Lake seds and till sampling, broad scale till sampling across the island has been coming available, and so there's more data, there's more of the story that's available to the experts to interpret than has been the case historically, and that's really set the table for a bit of a staking rush on the island, and some really phenomenal success that's been realized by some of the early entrants into what's referred to as the Central Newfoundland Gold Belt, which really runs from the southwest corner of the island to the northeast corner of the island.
I think we have a map here in your presentation. Let me just go there. So this is that's probably not even all of the players in this area.
No,
there's some smaller
not.
ones. Just today there was another company, K9, that made an announcement, and there's a new company coming up. It's called True Precious Metals, right? And they're all in this area. So is there any ground left for further staking?
There may be. We've been focused on the ground we've been looking at, and the better than 9,000 claims and 2,257 square kilometers of ground that we've locked up. We haven't been looking outside of those boundaries for a few weeks now.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If I look at this map, right? If let's say you take a look at Newfound Gold, or you take a look at Leocore Gold, or what is this, or Marathon Gold, and also Sokomani, right? They have, it seems to me, they have like continuous land packages, like one land package. While if you look at SASY, you are kind of all over the place, kind of connected to the other one. So what is the strategy behind this?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't characterize us as being all over the place. There are reasons why we're in each of these locations. If you picture, I said the conditions were set for these mineralizing events to flush up through this structure that exists and runs basically diagonally across the island from southwest to northeast. If you picture that series of faults, it's almost like the crumple zone or something. If you crashed a car and you see the hood of the car, the bonnet of the car is crumpled in a series of waves.
Yeah,
that's almost how you can picture the series of large structural systems that run across the island. And so we are on a number of those, and some of them, for instance, the Northern Arm Fault that runs up through our BLT property, the Botwood claims, Lawrenceston and Thwart Island claims. That's the same system that down here hosts a 5 million ounce deposit. What's close to now a 5 million ounce deposit that Marathon Gold has. So it's on a known system that hosts at least one pretty significant deposit.
Okay.
Cape Ray, just below us, there's a now nearly million ounce deposit that Matador Mining is developing with structure that runs right through that deposit and comes up through Cape Ray. Gander East, we've identified what looks to be a parallel system, parallel structure running to the northeast on the outside, the east of what's known as the Grub Line, the Gander River ultramafic belt here. That sort of forms the eastern boundary of Newfound Gold and Exploits and Lab Gold's properties up through here in the Gander region. And then in the large property and the most recent acquisition of ours, you have an absolutely huge gabbroic complex and intrusive here at Mount Peyton that's directly between the Keats discovery zone that Newfound Gold has and the Moosehead deposit that Sokoman Minerals has, with a number of pretty interesting, pretty exciting structures and historic gold and till anomalies working in its favor. So, there's been a logic, a pretty sound rationale to why we've chosen each of the pieces of ground that we have. There's not one line that hosts gold. There's not one vein or one crack that hosts gold in the island deck. There are several that are more or less parallel to one another, and then of course all of the faulting and structure that runs oblique to those, which it wouldn't be unusual in the global sense to find gold on some sort of east-west running structure when the predominant structure in the region is southwest northeast in this case.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, and I was just kind of teasing you by saying you're all over the place so that you can come up with explanations.
Each one of these larger project areas, could stand on their own.
Yeah, no, great. And there's a lot of the companies already got their drill permits. They are already drilling. They got some results. So what's your plan? Where are you going to start? And the good thing is that because you are always kind of adjacent to some of the other companies' ground, and a lot of them are drilling, right? So it will be kind of like you will also hopefully profit from drill results that are not only on your own ground, but also from results that are just in the area, right? That's what I saw from, let's say, before exploits started, they already got credit for what Newfound Gold got. So.
Right. So yes. So while our properties, we believe have a lot of geological merit to them on their own, there certainly is an area at play here, and we expect that rising tide will help float all the boats in the harbor here, and there will be a lot of news flow coming from us and from all of our neighbors in Newfoundland, certainly. Yeah. In terms of permitting, if over where close to where the number one is shown on this map that we're looking at, this, if you can see my pointer, this part of the property here is the ground that we originally optioned from Vulcan Minerals. Yeah. Just on the western edge of what we're calling our Gander North property. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the original pieces of ground we picked up. And the reason we did that is because just next to it, just west of there, is the exploits property and the target they call Jonathan's Pond, where there are gold in till anomalies that have run historically as high as 410 grams gold in till. That's unbelievable. And so that mag structure that runs across that Jonathan's Pond property runs onto our original Gander North group of claims, which we have then identified additional structure on the outboard side of the grub line, where we've now established this larger Gander North property, and we see some larger structures there that have some potential to them. So that's why we expanded on that original acquisition, and that Gander North, original Gander North property, that's where we do have a drill permit approved already. Mm-hmm. And we plan to do our first drilling on the island there this summer. Okay. While we are flying and covering all of these properties with fixed wing mag survey to get good coverage and better resolution, better definition on the mag surveys than what's available from the government sources. Sure. And we'll be doing pretty broad scale soil and till sampling on all of the priority areas within each of these large project areas that we've acquired.
Okay, yeah, that's good to hear. And as I said, there will be a lot of drilling. Yeah, as you said, it's kind of an area play, and of course, the good thing is that you joined this Newfoundland Gold Alliance, which is kind of comparable to the Yukon Alliance, and right. Of course, all of the companies are on the one hand, they are all competitors, right? But on the other hand, you're trying to make the whole, let's say, area moving forward by working together with a lot of, not all, but a lot of the companies that are on this map. And this helps you, I guess. Not only, it also helps you on the, let's say, political side of things, like the environmental things or on the First Nations talks. I think that all helps if you team up in a strong alliance. So can you give us some background about this alliance?
Well, we're really happy to be part of it. We're happy to see the companies working together at what we believe is a very early stage of what will be a long running area play here that is bound to deliver a number of significant discoveries throughout the Central Newfoundland Gold Belt. We're really happy that this alliance, this Newfoundland Gold Alliance, has been created, and I look forward to working together with all of the partner companies to make sure that we're getting the word out there all around the world as effectively as possible, more
Yeah.
effectively than any one of us could on our own, about just what is developing in Newfoundland.
Yeah. No, it's to me, I'm a team player. Yeah, working together is always better than fighting each other. But talking about fighting each other, do you assume that in the longer run there will be a consolidation going on? Like the one who's like the biggest might offer to take out some of the smaller ones, or what's this?
Well, you're wanting to haul out your crystal ball again, there, Michael. In
Yeah,
that
so
case,
I don't know where it
I
is.
don't know. We'll see how it plays out. That the M&A ebb and flow in this industry. It's constantly going back and forth. We'll see how that plays out down the road.
Okay, no, that's fair enough, and but it's always there's always a possibility. Maybe not right now, yeah, but when the first drill results come in from really outstanding drill results from some of the players come in, there might be an interest from some of the other ones that are bigger, and especially there's a lot of besides the, let's say, the staking and a lot of activity on the corporate side. There's also a lot of things going on the financing side. There's a huge inflow of money into companies that are in this area right now, right? So this also should transfer into more drilling, yeah, and then this again is good for the whole sector. Okay, is there?
Yeah, well, just on that front,
Yeah,
if I could. So the way
sure.
we've set these properties up is we incorporated a private subsidiary a number of months ago called Gander Gold
Yep,
Corporation. We're going to put these Newfoundland properties into that vehicle. We're conducting a financing as we speak. You and I are recording this on May 14th.
yep.
That financing will close in the very near future, and so we look forward to sharing some pretty exciting news on that front
Okay, cool.
in the coming days. And that is meant to position these properties to be able to raise their own capital and get their own attention, so that they're not second fiddle to the Formore,
Mm-hmm.
and not dilute the Sassy shareholders who are responsible for enabling this move into Newfoundland in the first place, right? So
Sure. Yeah.
Sassy shareholders will get good value from this deal out in Newfoundland, and it will be set up to be self-supporting and non-dilutive to Sassy.
And it will. Is there also plans for the other company, how do you pronounce it? Gander?
Gander Gold, yeah.
Gander Gold. Is that going to go public too? Because right now it's a
Yes.
private entity that's 100% owned by Sassy, right? And so is this will this be like a dividend out to the shareholders? Or?
It'll be a spin out by
Yeah,
through one mechanism or another. We have to do the all of the data compilation and report
sure.
writing and some of the the qualifying assessment spend and all of the check all those boxes for a listing application, which we
Yeah.
expect will come later this year.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so maybe there's a couple of slides that you have brought with you. Maybe if you want to run through some of them and give some more explanation.
Sure. So we're looking at the broad map of Newfoundland right now with our properties. This is a look at the island in almost the same scale, where you can see this series of parallel major structural systems that run southwest to northeast across the island. Here you have the Dog Bay line and the Grub line over here in the Gander region that we've been talking about, but also the Cape Ray Fault and the Red Indian line and the Long Range Fault, and others that provide the structure that creates the environment for these deposits to exist. And then on the island, I'm not sure if I mentioned it a while ago, but the glaciation and glacial retreat on the island of Newfoundland, unlike elsewhere, has not really moved the till that covers the ground around a whole lot. And so you'll hear explorers in Newfoundland talking about the pristine nature, the pristine condition of the gold grains that they find in their till samples. And the helpful, the real valuable part of this is that the till exists quite close in most cases to its source, as opposed to being many miles or kilometers away from it and having been moved by the ice movement on the island. So if you can run an effective till sampling program, you can really start to narrow in short order on where the source of that mineralization is.
Okay.
And so again, here's the large scale, and then in the most recent acquisition, which we just announced on the 14th of May, is this large Mount Peyton group, where there's a large gabbroic complex here in green and the intrusive in pink, and it sits right in between the Sokoman on the west here, the Sokoman Moosehead, and the Keats zone that Newfound Gold has on the east. And if you look at the mag map for the area, you can really see how there's a mag structure that runs east-west along, appears to run between the two, and you have a number of historic gold showings in here just east of our claims that appear to sit right on top of that structure. Now, the predominant structures in the area are southwest to northeast, and we have a highly prospective, very interesting fold nose down here in the southwest corner of the claim block, which has a number of anomalous tills overlaying that. So, we're pretty excited about this big piece of ground that sat unstaked for a long time, and when we got into it, we couldn't really figure out why that was. Locally, anecdotally, some of the stories are things as simple as when these gold showings just east of us, the Corsair showings and others were found many years ago. The road system, the secondary roads, the logging roads that the prospectors and geologists were using to access the area stopped right about here, and so that's as far as people made it. And
Okay.
over the last 30 or 40 years, the system of secondary roads in here has developed and improved, and basically runs throughout most of this quite large property, 867 square kilometers, or 876 square kilometers rather. And we have pretty good access to most of it. So
Okay,
there's
cool.
lots of historic anomalous gold results in the area, lots of structure, rocks that are of the right age and of the right type, and so lots of reason for optimism there.
Okay.
If we look at Gander North, which is again, if you look at the map here at Gander North, the original piece of ground that we optioned from Vulcan and announced in February was just sort of on the western flank of what is now a much larger property, some 25 times larger than it was originally. The Jonathan's Pond and the 410 gram gold in till results that are some of, if not the highest on the island, are right here, and this is where our drill permit has already been approved, and we plan to start drilling as soon as possible this summer to test some targets that Vulcan Minerals had identified. Again, this it has good structure, good rocks, and lots of reason for optimism. This on the left-hand side of the page and of this picture here, this is the structure that runs along the grub line, the Gander River ultramafic belt, and here you have the Jonathan's Pond areas over here. We've identified this parallel mag signature, that the structure that runs in virtually the same direction here, and then later identified these apparent structures that run to the northeast, southwest to northeast across that mag feature. So it's possible that's a buried ophiolite or magnetite system that, along with this structure intersecting it and interrupting the mag signature, suggests that there's a possibility that we might be onto something here, along with some of the historic gold in till, which appear to sit, very coincidentally right along those lines. So we're anxious to get in here and get better resolution on these on the geophysics and start sampling the till and sampling the soil on top of these structures at Gander North and the other areas that we'll talk about here. Carmenville, we know a little less about. It's on the inboard side, the western side of the grub line, which is shown here on the page. There's an intersection here of regional scale structure, which we're interested in, but there's less known about this block of claims than some of the others, admittedly.
Okay.
BLT is Botwood, Lauriston, Thwart Island, and again, there are intersections of regional structure that run through here. Lots of gabbro down along Botwood and up on Thwart Island. Bit of an access story, we think, to why there are such a high number of gold showings with promising grade along the shoreline on Thwart Island. We think that was a matter of, them being accessible by boat, but not a lot of prospecting and geology having been done a little further inland on the island. So this is the Northern Arm Fault, runs right through these claims, and that's the one that further down to the southwest hosts the Marathon Valentine deposit that's getting up into the 5 million ounce neighborhood these days. Okay. So we just move on down to Cape Ray, which is, so most of those other properties are up sort of surrounding the general area of Gander. People there wouldn't appreciate me saying that because there are a number of other towns around there. Okay. But, in general, it's up in that sort of northeastern part of the Central Newfoundland Gold Belt, whereas Cape Ray is down in the southwest corner, down close to the ferry landing at Port aux Basques, where you can get onto the island from the mainland. So this is the group of claims we've staked here. We've optioned from Sean Ryan and Wildwood Exploration. This is the Cape Ray Fault, and so you have in here an 840,000 ounce deposit at the moment that's been growing, in which Matador Mining Australia listed Matador Mining plans to bring into production, and we've identified a structure that runs through that deposit and up into our property that we've acquired just to the north of that. So there are some historic surface samples here that are 3 and 12 grams gold that were previously unknown. Basically, were hidden in the deep, dark recesses of assessment reports that not many people had read, not since the mid-1980s anyhow. And so those, combined with the structure that runs right through a known, give or take, million-ounce deposit, which you can see here on the page, running up to the north through the Matador, through the Cape Ray deposit into our property, again is reason for some excitement and some optimism. The Cape Ray Fault runs off and eventually splits into a number of other systems, but is host to some pretty impressive gold numbers along its length. So so those are the biggest of the properties we've acquired in Newfoundland. There's one I didn't mention that I probably should have. It is down in here. We call this group of claims. Originally, they were called Gander South and Lizard Pond by Vulcan, from whom we optioned them. But down here you have Newfound Gold's Eastern Pond target. So they've been drilling up here at the Keats zone, but we expect them to start doing more work and start generating more news flow out of their Eastern Pond target. And we're right there, as close as anybody to that zone that we think, and I'm sure they believe has some good potential to it too. There's quite a bit of other pretty prime real estate here that is sort of cross-hatched out in red or pink on this map. Yeah. And that ground actually is not available for staking. It's been locked out by the government of Newfoundland and Labrador. Oh, okay. Because of some sort of a bug that happened in their online staking system a while back. They had some sort of a bug and a system crash that caused them to, I guess, lose track of who had actually staked that ground, and so they froze it and
Wow.
said, they'll figure out how to fairly put it back into circulation later on, but
Yeah.
they haven't done that, and they haven't announced that they know how or when they're going to do that just yet. So,
That's strange.
yeah, it's kind of strange, but it was basically a computer problem
Yeah.
caused all of this really highly prospective ground to be locked out for the time being, at least, and so. Some of that ground is not available for staking by anybody, by us or anybody.
Yeah. Just on a side note, this is a big reason why everything should change to blockchain. Like all these registers should be on the blockchain.
Another interview for another day.
Yeah, I know. Okay, that's so great. Yeah, so what I really like is when I talk to you, I hear that you are really excited. Like you want to get started, right? So
we can't wait to
yeah.
get out there, and we've engaged ground truth exploration basically to work on our behalf on the
Mhm.
island for the summer, for the coming season, and they have a lot of experience in doing this kind of work. They have a team who have multiple multi-million ounce deposits under their belt, and so they're the ones who are bringing a 30-person team to bear
Okay.
on our properties in Newfoundland for this summer for the execution of the geophysics. They'll contract that in, and the performance of the soil and till sampling. They're setting up. They've made an agreement. They'll have a dedicated prep lab facility on the island and have a good turnaround. We expect getting those samples shipped off for assay and getting the results back. So, we don't have to have a lot of infrastructure in place on the island. We don't have to spend a lot of time
Hmm.
getting that infrastructure in place on the island, especially in these strange COVID times with the rotating lockdowns that we're all dealing with.
Yeah.
They're already out there. They're already mobilized to the island. Our permit applications for all that work are in. And in fact, we already have the drilling permit in place for Gander North on that western flank of Gander North. So,
Mhm.
yeah, we're excited about it. We can't wait to get going, and we like the ground we've picked up, and and we like the success that some of our neighbors have been
Yeah.
having already. It bodes well for the larger scale sort of working theory of what's going on the island here geologically.
Yeah, and it's not only you being excited, yeah, it's also that the shareholders are getting re-excited. Let's put it this way.
Right.
You had a pretty tough start into the year, right? But since you kind of communicated that you're getting more active in this gold belt, the share price has already appreciated in a good way. But it's to me, and I'm a shareholder, by the way, right? So, but this should be just the start. So that's my feeling. Yeah, the whole sector, just as you said, the whole area just started, right? There's a lot of activity, a lot of money, which again transfers into drill results from all over the place. Yeah, because it's all kind of interconnected, as you described, and you are all part of this alliance. Yeah, I think the whole area should, as you said, over the next couple of years, yeah, should be of a huge interest to the resource interested investor. Yeah, the institutional money like Sprott and the guys, they're all already in there big time. I saw some other companies that got a lot of retail interest already. And yeah, to my audience, yeah, to me, as I said, I'm a shareholder in SASY and some of the other companies that are in this area. So there's a conflict of interest. But yeah, please check out the website from Sassy Resources is sassyresources.ca. You can always also reach out to either me or their IR department in Canada, right? To get some more detailed information. And of course, Mark, I will commit you to another video interview whenever there's some more fundamental news coming out, because again, I always like talking to you. It's really refreshing, and yeah, I think good luck, yeah, with the endeavors. And is there as always, the final words are yours.
Well, thank you, Michael. It's a pleasure to be with you again. We certainly will be back as often as we have new news to talk about, and I'm happy to do that at your convenience anytime. And for your audience, yeah, I think you've hit it on the head. SASY has directly and through its subsidiary Gander Gold established a pretty exciting position in two of the world's leading gold camps, leading areas for significant economic discoveries in gold and some other metals and minerals. So it's if you're looking at this play in Newfoundland, looking at the Eskay camp where there are literally trillions of dollars worth of value that have been discovered in the deposits up there. It's this is something in Newfoundland that's happening that's akin to the early days of the Eskay camp in the Golden Triangle, we believe. And so get on board and enjoy the ride, because we think the conditions, the physical conditions on the island are ripe for what are a known number of mineralizing events that happen to have mineralized pretty significant portions of these large regional systems that run across this island. And the improved understanding of the island's geology and some of the models that are being proved out now by some of the discoveries that are being made are going to multiply in the discoveries that are going to be made over the coming months and the next several years, really, because there's a lot of ground to cover here on the world's sixth largest island. So we're excited about it. We're looking forward to it. We think the package of assets we've put together is worth several times what it's valued at the moment, and we look forward to getting up to what would be a more aligned valuation considering the properties we put together.
Okay, and we didn't even talk about rising gold price, the inflation coming back. But that's for another interview. For now, I'll let you go.
All the fun. The table has been set for a real success story here.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Mark. Have a great weekend, and I'll stay in touch with you. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mike.